People pay me and my friends to wear black t-shirts for 10 hours in a day.
A lot of people ask me questions, I try to give them answers, but instead I ask them to ask better questions so that I can give them answers to my better questions.
Rewrite my life every single day.
Okay, hi everyone. For today, we are really looking into the industry of communications and media. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce to us some of our guests for today. So we're going to have some youth representing the youth community like you guys.
I'm Havel. I'm a business student at SMU.
Hey everyone, I'm Jane. I'm doing maritime studies.
The next people we are going to bring on are the professionals from the industry. Jane and Havel will basically be assembling their salad based on what they imagine the job to be like. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. 2 minutes begins now.
With planning and strategy, I guess. Have to come up with an end goal, what you're gonna do at the end of this meeting with your clients or who else? Internal meeting, yes. It's like my daily snacks.
I think everything here should be, but I don't really like cheese.
What? Research, yeah. On TikTok.
Oh, I think a lot of networking.
A lot?
You're just going to
No,
put the
I
whole
think
thing
there'll be
in.
more presentation.
A lot of content creation.
Yes. Oh, I'm gonna finish this. I'm done.
Okay, time's up. So perfect timing.
For my salad, I think it's similar to what Jane has said, except I put in a lot of networking because I feel that in this type of industry, it's important to have connections. Even when you're producing collaterals for marketing, I think you're looking for sponsorship, you're looking for investments from people. So I think it's an important factor.
Yeah.
Now we'll get the professionals to come up one by one so that we can hear about what their job is like. And we'll start with Jeng.
So I don't really network. We like to have our own space to create. So networking, I picked it up by the side. And then everything is hidden underneath like the veggie. So basically everything, like right now, work from home, everything is like a meeting lah. So when you have a problem to solve, you do the planning and strategy, you do the research, and then you do the meat, which is the content creation, and then you go to present to clients. And then you have to go back if your ideas are rejected, right? You go back into the same process. Others is like your hope for more personal time, and then sometimes got a bit of tears. Then creative space for yourself so that you can actually put more of yourself into your work also.
Next up, we'll have Jeremy with his salad.
I guess the part of the job that we think is fun, which we all like, is content creation. But I think undergirding that, you realize there's a lot of research, which is why I put a lot of these purple letters. But I think a lot of the research entails getting to know let's say you're assigned a topic or you are finding yourself, you have to get to know it very well. I also put networking to the side. I think it's important to know people, but I try to let my work speak for itself. And admin is important, but I think once you establish a good system, you try to minimize it. Presentations once in a while, but like once you set that scene, set the tone, then after that I try to keep it more asynchronous. There's more coordination and more getting people on the same page by meeting. Yeah.
Cool.
Rather than me, okay, this is what I have, listen to me. Yeah. If I'm gonna put some sauce, it's refining the craft.
On the final one, we have Nick.
I think there's lots of meetings. I think in our industry, right, there are a lot of people with different skill sets. So it's very important to coordinate and discuss. And I think in advertising and marketing, it's very subjective as well. So there's no real right answer. So it's a matter of discussing, get the best from everyone. But you can see there's a lot of purple color things here. So in our industry, it's constantly changing. When TikTok just came out, some of my clients may ask me, hey, we need a TikTok strategy, but it's like, it just came out, right? So we've got to
10-year
research.
series for that.
Well, 10-year series, where I want to buy. And also with that, with the information that we gather, we do a lot of planning and strategy. And I think this is the most important part in our job, is because the strategy will give the direction of what we are going to do later. And if the strategy is wrong, then the clients may invest their money in the wrong way. We do have a team, like for example, Jing and Jeremy, they are the teams that actually get a lot of things done. But if I do anything, it's slides. So presentation is a lot. So we have to talk to clients a lot to make sure that we are on the right track. This is very important. It's liquid courage. So for liquid courage, we need to find fun things to do together with our colleagues. Make sure that relationships with people, between teams, between people are good, so that we can then get great output.
So we're gonna move into our discussion format. What was one most, say, memorable project that you were working on?
I guess one of the memorable ones was when we were like following rental flat residents in Dakota Crescent, and like when they were being made to move. So that was quite meaningful, and we did like a multimedia website where we pushed ourselves. We gathered a group of like other people who like sort of volunteered. It was a lot of relationship building and like getting to know their lives, actually making friends before you go in and document it.
We actually built this entire larger-than-life boombox where you can actually go walk into, and it was rotating through some of the malls. And there's this big turntable where you can mix, and you're mixing different eras with different genres of music. So everybody is a music creator. So that's kind of fun. And to top it up, the end of the campaign, right, we actually had a big concert. It's actually quite fun. It doesn't feel like a desk job in a way. It feels like you're going out, meeting people, and doing something meaningful, building the music industry in Singapore. That's really nice.
It sounds almost like everybody travels.
Before COVID, I travel about 14 to 17 times a year. And there are some which is really horrible, is the day trips to like Jakarta or KL. You wake up, you take the 6:20 flight, you fly to the country, you go for a 1-2 hour meeting, then you go back to the airport and wait for your plane to come back, and then you touch down 10 p.m, 11 p.m.
One of the task was to create a website for a client. Basically, I have to sell Batam as a destination. I had to literally go to Batam and talk to people and interview them within like half an hour, like taste the food and do everything to get an understanding of that place. Yeah, but it's interesting because you get to meet different people, and you will try to make sure that you do justice to the people that you have met.
Some people do end up being tapped on to travel a lot for shoots, and some are less lah. If you're doing commercial work and it's a lot of studio work, sure, you can do it in Singapore, but if it's docu or factual stuff, people want to know about. So it's, I mean, people like clients also who have a Batam campaign and then they're like, I need someone to go. So I do feel lucky because while I may not be in the usual tourist places, but then like you get different kind of experiences, like visiting people's homes and getting to know people on the different levels. So I quite like that.
What is the biggest threat to your sector now?
I think the biggest threat to advertising, I'm not representing like advertising lah, I just personal opinion, it's actually itself. So if the industry, if the sector right stagnates and doesn't evolve, and then it is itself like dangerous, because like we have a lot of different sectors in the comms industry that are converging because of social media. You know, last time it used to be PR can do this thing, but then now PR also want to do content creation, for example. Staying relevant is the most important thing lah.
If you continuously try to improve yourself and do good work and update yourself with what people want, you can stay relevant lah.
You sort of need to keep changing and keep up to the pace, and if you stagnate, you're just going to be left behind because other people will be working hard.
Yeah, say one other threat is it's very easy to get deep in and burn out in this industry, I feel, if you don't watch out.
What do you study like in university, and how do you get to the point where you are now?
I studied comms and new media. You know, initially I was in the science stream. Then when I went to uni, I decided I have a bit more hunger about the world, how people think, I want to think better. So I went to arts and social sciences. Like the salad lah, you just pick whatever you like. And then that's why you enjoy that process of learning in school. Then when I graduated, I thought I would like to do something creative. I want to be a writer. So I just went on LinkedIn and searched for like, you know, internships and also jobs related to creative and also writing. And then because I know that my generic degree can actually open the door to like comms, so I just went ahead. So it's one step by one step, and then I'm blind to whatever's in front of me.
So your story is not like, oh, whatever I learned in uni is not applicable. It is applicable because you studied like a lot of ideas, a lot of different aspects of the world, and then you combine it into the creative side.
Yeah, there's no one way to like reach there.
I studied in communications as well, NTU. But I went in actually to do advertising. I thought I would do advertising, and then I got into some film modules, and then I was like, hey, this is actually pretty nice. And I quite like the process of collaborating in that group and having a work of your own, because I feel like for advertising, a lot of it you make it and then it disappears very fast. Yeah, like the work, but I wanted something that to own like for a while. So that's why I just decided to like go into film. And then when I did a docu module, I was like, hey, actually this is nice. And I interned at a production house, and then I realized like, yeah, I'm learning a lot of the world just getting out there and filming them.
I think this story is an exact one that says how you just kind of follow that interest, see where it goes,
Because
and then it's going to lead you closer to something that you want.
Because you might not be exposed enough to know that a certain thing exists. Then only when you finally get to touch it, you're like, hey, this might work for me.
I didn't take advertising module at all in uni. So it's interesting because I ended up in advertising.
And if one day you decide like, hey, actually I'm more interested in something else, actually you can sort of segue a bit.
I did not intend to do this industry at all. I finished O-levels, I got 24 points. I couldn't go to any poly, to any course that I wanted. I wanted to go NAFA. My parents said, no, art cannot earn money one, you know, so okay lah, my dad only can sponsor me go study computer, I go study computer. So after I finished computer, I went to uni to study information systems and e-commerce. Along the time, I come into contact with modems in 1995, 1994. Then I think that's what I want to do, something with the internet, whatever it is. So I just pursued that. And I knew the first thing was there are websites to create. So I started Photoshop, just download and then play around. And then after that, slowly from doing creative stuff, start to program websites. And then after that, I did uni. Then I finished uni, I went into a family business. And for 3 years, I really learned business. Okay, understanding supply, demand, all this kind of stuff. Then I decided that this internet thing is really doing well. I should learn more about it. I went for an interview. After 3 more months, the person actually gave me a job. Then he said, can you do project management? I'm like, what is project management? Oh, you just tell people what to do. You don't have to do it yourself. I said, oh, got such job, not bad, eh?
Wow.
So accidental.
Is there any possibility of a more structured working hours?
On some days, right, you have to be okay to like chill a little. On some days, you have to rush. If you really want structure, I would say it's very idealistic lah. Advertising, like as an industry, it kind of, I realized lah among my friends, like it kind of adapted quite well to the work from home culture. OT do their own thing. You want to roll out of your bed, right, at 10 a.m. for like your first meeting, and you still can get your work done. I think that is like acceptable. Personally, as a creative, I realized that what is more effective is when I have a muse, when I'm inspired to do things, where I just take inspired action during that period of time. Maybe I have to write a 5-page script, but then if I'm inspired and I can do it in half an hour, like right now, and it's 12 a.m, I will do it at 12 a.m. So it's more about knowing how you function.
I try to keep certain boundaries, but also knowing expectations. If let's say everyone was on board, okay, this is a crunch time and we're gonna like work a bit harder because we want to push this out, then everyone's like, okay, then we rest a bit more later, that's fine.
If you reply emails at 10 p.m, people will think it's okay to send you emails.
You are setting a culture and a precedent.
If you just take it like, you know, oh, my boss tell me to spend more time doing this, I just keep doing, and you don't ask yourself, what value am I bringing? Then I think you will just go down that rut where, you know, you're just throwing hours as a problem.
Just know that you have, like people bring different value for different skills, and that's why our salads are different. So knowing when you can rely on your project colleagues and all this, you know, like that's a key part, I think.
What is the most satisfying aspect of your job?
I love going into weird industries. I sometimes have to deep dive into one industry for 2 weeks, like random stuff, like what's the viscosity of liquids in a test tube to measure this and that. It's like, right? But I have to read up. How am I going to consult, right? And I enjoy that because then it expands my worldview. It allows me to understand different things. Then makes life richer.
You cannot avoid the pain, but I think you can sort of choose which pain you want and then decide like what's the pain for, right? But when I'm on set and then things are a bit like hectic and stuff, but then somehow that 10 hours with the adrenaline is quite shock lah. I realize I benefit from doing the same unit of work but with less time because I put in the hours to streamline my thought processes on my efficiency and all that, and I'm like, hey, I'm earning the same amount of money for less time. Some aspect that this will be hard, but then like because I want to learn, and when I actually get it done and accomplished, I feel shocked, then that's the pain I choose lah.
I would say I enjoy the creative process. So when I'm in the flow, I get to create things instead of consume things. That's what I really like. And then in terms of work-wise, right, what is satisfying is that, like, you know, I like the creative culture. Because of work, I got to build a circle of friends that are, like, you know, equally passionate and like we have a similar like worldview.
No good work, no success can come from not working. So I'd rather talk about it as do what you want to keep doing. And in that case, you don't mind the longer hours, you don't mind the work that you have to do, but you're again choosing the kind of work that you are willing to commit and push yourself into. You can check out On My Way National Youth Council, search for that on Google and you will find quite a lot of resources. Day in a life of different jobs. So you can go take a look at that, they're really well produced as well. Thank you very much for joining us for today. Looking forward to see you guys next time.